Chris made me make a Trigun-esque intro to the podcast, guys. So here it is. It's Subscriber Central, the Missable Podcast. You're gonna wanna miss it. Subscriber Central, the Missable Podcast about the unmissable anime. Trigun.
Oh yeah, you don't edit anything when you edit the podcast. I forgot.
Welcome to the Missable Podcast, everyone. Today we're only 15 minutes late, and we're down 2 members, and we have some random guy that I've never talked to in my life before that's too lazy to get a microphone for his computer, so he's talking to us through his phone right now. So yes, welcome to the Missable Podcast, where truly you can probably miss this episode.
Just like last week.
Like every week.
Yeah. I watched it a bit, but...
What's up?
I watched it a bit, but I went to play Guilty Gear.
How do I zoom out my webcam on fucking Skype?
Me.
I don't know. I'm not your webcam.
You should.
Understand how this works.
Today we're going to talk about Trigun, and maybe at some point Chris will fix his webcam so that he feels more comfortable.
I don't like people seeing my gross room.
See, this is why my webcam is set up so that you can only see this wall in my room, because anything else is embarrassment. Anything beyond this point is embarrassment.
Well, for my stream, I have it set where you could only see me. But Skype's a bitch.
Are you smoking?
Yes, I am smoking a cigarette.
Smoking's bad for you.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, man. My mother got badly sick from it. It's time to stop.
It's time to stop.
I plan on quitting at the age of 25.
Chris, cigarettes are bad for you.
10 years of smoking. And then it's over.
It's time to stop.
Yeah, Chris.
I want to make bad choices in my life.
I mean, I did too, but not that bad.
There we go, video settings. That's too much.
That's
too
too
much.
much.
Too much.
It's too much,
I don't
Chris.
like that. I don't want it. I don't want it.
That's about how it usually is, though.
That's better, right? So I didn't like that zoom. I don't want people seeing that much of my face. I'm not exactly pretty.
Boy, if you ever start smoking, I'm gonna kill you.
Grandma,
I will get you.
you
All right, there
shouldn't
we
say
go.
that while you have a cigarette in your mouth.
Save.
So, today we're going to talk about our favorite anime. It's my favorite anime. I have a lot of favorite animes, just like I have favorite songs. I have a lot of favorite songs. This one is my favorite. It's amazing. So, I know Chris has seen this many times. I've seen it once. I tried a little bit to catch back up with it and get a refresher on it. That didn't work out very well.
That's why I just read a ton about it. That way I knew what was going on. Like, I spent the last 3 hours doing nothing but reading about Trigun and the characters.
Yeah.
3 hours?
And talking to Vamp.
Oh yeah, about Ed.
And
I get salty about it.
yeah, Ed looks super cool, but that stream was not cool at all.
I know, I was just getting angry about it. Like, I don't like it.
Where are you from, Vamp?
Oh, I'm from Tennessee.
Tennessee?
Yeah.
That explains our connection in SF4 that day.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Tennessee internet is
No.
bad. So is Kentucky's. I don't know
Like,
the Tennessee.
It's not that They're not that bad.
I mean, I lived in Kentucky before. That internet's pretty bad. One second, I gotta fix my mic.
Oh.
You do that.
Fuck, cord is all tangled.
Cord.
Sorry, cord was twisted up. I didn't like it.
Rip.
This headset really fucks my hair up. I gotta look pretty for the podcast, guys.
I'm trying to get this cigarette to get stuck to my lip.
Ow, no, don't do that. That hurts. I gotta turn that lamp off. It's annoying me. But I'm too lazy to turn it off. So that means I have to get up.
What are
Alright.
you looking at, boy? I'm just gonna do this the entire stream.
what
Let
did
me
you
get
do?
another one out.
What did you do this week, Josh? Never answered that. Because
I've been working on a lot of music this week.
Finally.
I've been playing a little bit of PA. I think I just revolutionized the meta again, but I haven't perfected it yet, and I'm not gonna. I don't know. I have to perfect it first.
Last time you revolutionized the PA meta, it made the game 10 times worse to watch.
Yeah,
Damn.
it's like
Damn.
it's a combination of the old with the new. It's like
Com
like-
Reclaim ruined that game.
it's Com Reclaim combined with like the old
Proper
like,
play.
actually build 2 metal extractors at the start. So this way, I am at an even higher advantage within the first 30 seconds of the game. I should do this the entire stream.
Please don't.
Yes, please don't.
I do not have a nicotine problem.
Does it?
I feel about that.
I kind of
You
look like a
you do.
walrus, to be honest.
Does it allow for more neutral game than Com Reclaim allowed for?
Okay,
Does Com
so
Reclaim
instead of
completely ruin the neutral.
like
I'm gonna go
usually,
get the water
usually you
real
start
quickly.
with 2 fabs.
Alright. So you
I
can get back down.
Usually you start with 2 fabs. I start with like 4. And all those fabs just go out and build defenses where I'm gonna take metal. And then I take the metal. Because I don't need to take it at first. Because I already have 30...
I'm back.
40...
Alrighty.
I want to say 48. 48 metal already coming in at the beginning. Because, yeah, that's more than 0.
What about when like the actual mid game happens? Like, does it remain fun, or is it closer to the old days pre-com explain?
It's
Explain.
Com explain.
Reclaim, where it would just turn into mass docks with T2 tank backup.
Well, you can't. Oh, the thing about Planetary Annihilation, the combat system that I like about it, is that it's attack move. It's been described as just attack move because no units have special damage properties versus other units.
Which upsets me.
But the difference is in how much damage they do and rate of fire and stuff like that. So docks will overpower like T2 units that have a slow rate of fire. But there's a lot of people that have been playing while I've been gone that have just been taking certain aspects of the game to a ridiculous amount. So there's this guy Flub, who everybody says he spams air, but you know, he says he doesn't actually spam air, and I figured out his secret. He just starts building air before you, and you'll have air for the rest of the game more than you. But like, there's a lot of cool stuff.
What'd you say, man?
That just sound like a pain in the ass.
RTS in general is a pain in the ass.
I bet. That's the way he described it.
And Planetary Annihilation is like massive scale real-time strategy.
Like, that game is really cancer, and with people just loving to use air so much, and the fact that like air units don't have to do flight patterns, they can just hover in the air because they're more like hover cars
and they can kind of
than
just do whatever they
aircraft.
want.
Yeah. They're kind of cancer. So that's why I opt to build so much static defense in that game to minimize the amount of having to rebuild the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over against more experienced players, because those games can just last fucking forever under those circumstances. Like, it's just, I hate it. So in order to alleviate that, I just build a ton of turrets. Just a ton of them. Just so many. The most powerful units in that game are turrets, and nobody knows it.
That sounds really stupid in a way.
The game will devolve in the tower defenses against like lower level players because they refuse to lose. But
I would honestly just devolve the only way that I would ever have fun playing that game, even at the highest level, if I made it to high level play in PA, which I probably could.
You don't have to click a lot in that game.
Well, that's why I don't have like high levels of execution or anything in my fucked up hand. So clicking a ton like in StarCraft screws me up real bad. That's why I play.
I never played StarCraft, so I can't really say much. I want to, but
yeah, StarCraft 2 is the current meta for StarCraft 2 is super action per minute heavy. I don't really like that. Wings of Liberty was much less APM.
That game is like, it's it's about efficiency, and if you can get every little sliver out of it, you don't have to play better than the you don't have to. You can just overwhelm your opponent by just getting everything sooner, and that's the same thing with PA, but a lot more thought goes into it.
And PA is much more about the resource management end, which is pretty much the only thing I'm good at in StarCraft.
If you can manage your economy in PA, you
have
don't have to play well.
Yeah, you have a pretty easy ride to top 8 in that game if you can manage economy and do proper defensive play, which again, is one of the reasons I play Protoss.
You still have to know basics, like when you get a unit, you don't want it sitting in your base. You want it out there.
That's like saying Guile is God tier, but you need to know your fundamentals, or you're not going to make top 8 with Guile.
You get spam Sonic Boom all day.
But like at a high level, that doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. But
unless you're Knuckle Dude playing against Tokido or Daigo.
Yeah, that is very true.
Last season, Tokido is God.
Is a Guile like top tier at this point?
I'd say he's top 3. After the patch, he's probably still going to be at least top 5.
Yeah, I don't play the game, but I follow it from time to time.
Like he has good zoning and good frame traps. Come on, what are you gonna do? The character's made to be good. Josh, fuck you.
Take the beating. Okay.
Shut up.
Take the.
But other than PA, what else did you? Other than PA and music, did you do anything else this week, Josh? Or would you like me to remove?
I've been thinking about getting a new guitar, but I'm probably not going to. I realize that my guitar is probably good enough. Yeah, because I got a new amplifier. I mean, that's still music related. We've been playing Tabletop Sim some more. I watched a little bit of Trigun. I watched My Hero Academia. I watched your stream. I've been streaming too much. I've just been getting back into PA, just the bare minimum, to slowly just enjoy it, you know.
I want to watch My Hero Academia so that I can run a podcast on.
I never heard it. Until I met you two.
Chat says that Trigun is a classic. You are right, chat. I agree with you.
I mean, at these days, you had to force me to watch anime. No joke.
Oh, Angel No Cucumber.
I would definitely recommend My Hero Academia, though. It's like 13 episodes.
Oh, that anime. A close friend of mine is crazy about that anime.
I love anime. Anime is way better than most American productions.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
I just wish that I didn't
Oh, is
have
American made?
What is?
My Hero
Trigun?
Academia? Or are you talking about Trigun?
No, I'm saying anime is better than American productions. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, like today, like American shows get such a big one.
Pretty much.
Who are these Twitch Prime people blowing up our chat? Who are you? What do you want?
They
I
want nothing
Try
but
to
the
do a
best.
podcast.
Well, ignore them and answer their stuff in the chat.
The dub
And-
is better than the sub that they say.
Trigun's dub is better than sub.
Like American cartoons? Chris, did you forget to take out the garbage? Or is that Vamp?
Why?
I heard like
Why?
somebody's mom came in and yelled at him. Like, hey! I'm the ghost of Christmas past. Oh. You're a little bit
I'm the-
early, to be honest.
It's never too late to be early.
You need to check your calendar.
It's never too late to be early.
Maybe
Oh, that's
you're just
great.
really late for last Christmas. So,
Alright, what about you, Cam? What have you done this past week?
Nothing really. All I really did is help clean the backyard, like digging and shit. I'm just
That's
waiting
fun.
for the beta to start.
Yeah. It should be started right now. I just don't know. You could have preloaded it last.
you guys are
last-
scrubs. You should do alphas.
How about get good and play Guilty Gear? Get on my level. You won't.
No, I don't wanna. Guilty Gear hurts my hand.
I'm an actual main. I'm an actual main. Get on my level. You won't.
Guilty Gear hurts my hands, and when biking comes out, my hands are going to die when I buy that game.
Wait, am I supposed to inhale or exhale with these things?
Don't ask me. Why you
Shut up, Josh. Cameron here is a Guilty Gear / Skullgirls player who played Axel in the Rev 2 beta. Not Axel, Biken in the Rev 2 beta. How are you liking Biken, Cameron?
It's fun. It's gonna take me a bit to warn her, but I'm enjoying her for what she is. That's funny because the first time I saw her, I'm like, I bet she gonna suck. But when the beta come out, I'm like, you know, I can work things out.
She looks really fun.
She is. She's just, I can't wait to get good with her.
All I've done is play Street Fighter and stream.
Yeah,
Rip.
I know.
I mean, I've been
That's-
working. I've been.
They changed my working schedule not so long ago, so
I need to make a stream schedule. I keep saying I'm
I-
going to.
You should.
yeah.
I should get back on that too. I just kind of stream whenever I want now. And that
Yeah.
doesn't make it easy for people who want to watch me to find me.
I stream daily, but it's at like random times every day.
Whatever.
It's usually later at night though, like
Yeah.
9, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, same for me, but around 11.
Also, this week, you can check the VOD. It's pretty bad. But before I went and hung out with Josh on his stream, I did my first ever trailer analysis type thing, and it wasn't very good. I did a poor job. But it was a fun experience. I really looked into the Ed trailer. I wanted to give it a few more views, but I wanted to play Tabletop Sim more.
Tabletop Sim.
That game is a barrel of laughter, dude. Holy
Dude.
Christ.
I think if you're that bored, then yeah.
I can't get anybody to play like abstract games with me. They're too hard and they like require thought.
That's not the problem at all. Blockus is boring.
Blockish is the best. You're like, my brain hurts. And I'm like, my brain is
I said my
thriving.
brain doesn't work.
I'm getting
Difference.
assaulted with dopamine.
Puzzle
just
games
destroying
are the
you
worst.
guys.
I
Puzzle
can't.
games are the
Puzzle
worst.
games are fun. Jump times.
Trash. Puzzle games are more trash than, well, Elfelt, Milia, that gen.
Whoa,
trash.
whoa. How dare you. Hashtag Trigun beyond repair.
I want to learn how to play Go.
No.
Go.
Go's not hard to learn. It's just hard to be good at.
Seems like it'd be my
Like-
kind of game.
It's like Street Fighter. It's really easy to get into it, but once you really get in, you realize just how.
Oh no! What have I
daunting everything
gotten myself into?
And yeah, other than that, I read a ton of stuff about Trigun, and I've been watching Black Mirror recently. That show's fucked. Don't watch that show alone. Don't do it.
Oh,
Why?
yeah. The first season. I think it was the first season. Those ones are really creepy.
Second season's worse. Episode 2, I haven't seen episode 1 of season 2 because I was watching it with my cousin, and it kind of like, I don't remember what the topic of it is, what the episode's about, but she didn't really want to deal with that. So we skipped episode 1 because, well, it's all self-contained stories, just like Twilight Zone is. It's basically modern Twilight Zone, from what I get out of it. And I think it's way better than Twilight Zone ever was. Because, well, it's modernized to a point where it doesn't destroy the way it used to work. It's just think of Twilight Zone with modern tech and modern time, like, everything. Episode 2 of season 2 is fucking terrifying, though. It's about a lady who wakes up one day and everyone's watching all of her actions, but no one will talk to her or interact with her whatsoever. And I'm going to leave it there for now because that's what the description of it is on Netflix.
Wait. I don't.
You use Netflix for anime?
I don't remember this episode.
It's a American TV show. Live action.
Oh, I see.
I can't really go into it without, like, fucking up the episode.
Wait, just restate that real quick.
She wakes up and she realizes that she's all alone.
Oh, I know
And
which
there
one
are
that
people
is.
watching her, recording her with their phones. And, like, there's this
Oh,
symbol on the TV when she wakes up. Yeah, now you know it.
That one's so messed up.
That was crazy. I've never seen anything more, like, jacked in my entire life. Like, as
Black
far as,
Mirror.
like, non-internet stuff goes, I mean, Mr. Hands is kind of the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
What got you to watch it?
You talking about it on Discord?
Oh, all right.
I just saw you
I
talking.
thought it might have
John.
been. I thought it might have been us talking about it in passing on an earlier podcast.
No, well, Flo talked about it once.
Flo's a fighting game streamer. He's a good one. He's a
He
funny
doesn't just
one.
do fighting games. He does variety streams. He doesn't actually play much fighting games. He's just really good at them naturally, so he just kind of gets away with no practice and still being diamond ranked in Street Fighter V, and no practice and still bodying people in Guilty Gear. Hasn't played Marvel in years, but last time he played Marvel, he still bodied
How to play Urian. If
everyone.
you guys are
Yeah.
interested in
No.
Street
No,
Fighter,
you ain't
just watch the How to Play Urian video.
Urine is boring.
You think you're gonna do something? No, I'm gonna pierce.
Wait, what'd you say, Cameron? Josh being a dick.
Play a character that takes some thinking.
Like, Urian's
I
really
know,
good, in my opinion.
I had to like Urine. He's so. Oh my god.
Urian mirrors are the hypest shit because something fucked up always.
I do enjoy a good mirror match. I do.
Like, something unexpected happens every time you see a Urian mirror. Last time I watched a Urian mirror, one of them threw a fireball, the other one activated V-trigger to reflect it, and then the one that threw the fireball activated Far Aegis, and the fireball bounced off the one mirror, and then the other. It looked like kind of like Rose Ball for a second there, like Bella Ball, where it's just like doop 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 doop, and then goes in and he dashes forward like 3 times during the fireball bouncing up against the Aegises. Dashes forward like 3 times, and since it hit the first Aegis first, it negated the first one before his, so it hit the opponent's Aegis, bounced off for the last hit of that Aegis. Aegis can I think it's 4 hits of projectile reflection, or 4 hits of anything, and that killed the Aegis. Bounced off of the other guy's Aegis, bounced back. The fireball hits and he activates second Aegis reflector, and then supers and kills. So he comboed his own fireball into his second Aegis into dash forward super. It was fucking amazing. It was the hypest shit I've ever seen. I didn't know it was going to be.
Speaking of the F word, let me just pull up our little document
Swear
here.
jar.
I guess I'm not allowed on stream or something.
So, can you get hit by your own fireball?
If it's reflected by the Aegis, yeah.
Sick.
I think Aegis Reflector's the only reflect-like thing in Street Fighter V, though. I know in 4 and Alpha, Rose has reflect, and that's why I use the Rose Ball comparison, because in Rose Ball what you do is one of you throws a fireball, and then just like how... do you know how to play Bella Ball, Josh?
Play what?
Bella Ball. It's Rose Ball, but in Skullgirls. What you do is you throw a fireball, and then Bella does her reflect thing, where she shoots it back at you.
Uh-huh.
And then the other Bella does that again, and they keep going until one of them gets hit by the projectile, and the one that gets hit by the projectile loses.
I never seen that. Like I know that possible, but never seen it before.
I never played Bella Ball, but I played Rose Ball once. It's really fun. It is really fun.
I tried to make Shell Bella, but not easy on keyboard. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that.
Because
other than that, I've just been getting hypo.
I've been looking to get one, but at the same time, I
just
want one.
Just use the X input wrapper for PS4 controllers.
I tried that, but I don't know. It's just feel awkward to me sometimes.
Oh, I got you. I play on stick, so...
Yeah, I've been thinking about getting stick.
Stick actually kind of made me drop Skullgirls because I can't do IADs on stick very well. Without using an 8th button, but I hate using an 8th button on my arcade stick. I'm more used to it now because I use it as a V-skill button for Akuma and Ryu. But that's about it.
Akuma was fun to play.
So, Trigun.
Alright, yeah,
About
let's get
30 minutes in.
That's fine. Before we start, what is your initial opinion from like way back in the day when you first saw Trigun? Not watch the whole thing, but when you first saw it, what did you think you would think of it?
I don't know. I think you recommended it to me, and I started watching it. And the first episode was like the beginning's kind of deceptive because they make Vash out to be a cool guy, and then you find out that he is a cool guy, but he's a really weird cool guy. Like I I loved it because the protagonist he turned out to be a guy that didn't take things too seriously. On the, I don't know, on the top. I don't know how to describe it.
He seemed really laid back.
Yeah. He didn't take things too seriously. He's more like a satirical character.
My first thoughts were it was going to be really dumb. Not gonna lie. First time I ever saw it was on Adult Swim. I just thought it was going to be the dumbest thing ever. And I watched the second episode, and I was right. It's the dumbest thing ever. Trigun's super dumb. The whole thing is stupid. The show is amazing. It's the best. It's not the best, but I love it. It's one of the best animated shows ever made. American, French, Japanese, I don't care where you're from. If you don't like Trigun, you're probably wrong about your opinion. Wrong opinions.
I don't care what your opinion is. If you don't agree with me that this anime is awesome,
You're wrong.
your opinion's
How
wrong.
dare you? You are wrong. How dare you?
What about you, Cameron?
I never watched it before, but I might actually try it sooner or later.
That's part of the reason this podcast exists.
Yeah. Except, like I said, these days...
Shit,
Yeah,
you know what I didn't do? I didn't change scenes in OBS.
See? Yeah.
Chris!
GG. I'm a scrub.
We all scrubs, anyway.
I'm a stream scrub.
With OBS is just kind of imposed over Skype. Okay, there we go. We're good.
I had to...
Chris, you idiot.
I mean, you're recording your own local recording, so I mean, it doesn't really affect us too much.
Yeah.
As long as you're not, like, dicking around with stuff.
Such a scrub.
Never read the Trigun manga, but today, during my 3-4 hours of research, I realized there are actually a bunch of differences with the origin story. The rest of it's, for the most part, the same. But get into a little bit of the anime part real quick so I can explain it. In the anime, Bash the Stampede and Knives fight as young adults. And Knives shoots Bash's arm off. I think it's the first episode. It might be shown in a later episode.
Oh, this one's... Yeah. Sorry.
And in the anime, in the manga, instead of shooting the arm off, Knives cuts it off because he's able to create knives. The manga actually, in my opinion, doesn't seem like it's as good as the anime is. Like, I read a lot of stuff about the manga today to kind of have an opinion, like a way to like talk about it at least a little bit. And the differences there don't really mean much for the most part, and it doesn't. And I read a little bit of the first 2 chapters today just to kind of see what it's like. The art's not as good, so I might not read it, but I'll probably read it. What about? Isn't that Parasol's little sister? Before I continue,
No.
is that the other little girl that I can't remember the name of?
Oh, Annie.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. I didn't want her. I wanted Eliza, and I wanted Tank.
I didn't want Warble first game, but we got stuck with her.
I wanted
I
Eliza.
tried Eliza, but I
What's up?
I tried to play Eliza, but she's difficult.
I love Eliza so much.
I
As soon as she
hate
came
her
out,
much.
she came out, and I just jumped into training
Yeah,
mode.
you played Eliza hard. Just... I hated playing as Eliza.
I used to have a good Eliza and a decent Philia, and a mediocre Valentine that only
Yeah,
existed.
you actually had Eliza combos.
I had Eliza combos setups footsies, which is really hard to do in that game. When
Yeah.
you're
Same time.
constantly trying to think of what the other person might do, and then they just do something completely out of left field, like random super in the middle of neutral. It's a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
I did
matchup.
that.
Yeah.
Gosh, we did that a lot. But another difference between the manga and the anime is when Vash is fighting the Gung Ho Guns, which are Knives' technically mercenaries. They're basically his mercenary group that he runs that is trying to kill Vash. Not for his $60 billion double dollar bounty, but just because Knives wants Vash to understand that murder has to happen, and
Okay.
Vash doesn't want to kill.
Okay, here's the first episode. Like the
Also, I kind of
intro.
want to change the format this time, so that way we don't have to go through each individual episode and then just run through the whole thing. How about we just like kind of give a rundown of the whole show?
All right. But
But you
here's
can talk about what you're going to say first.
here's the coolest thing that I remember from last night watching. I think I only got through like 2 episodes. The first thing.
Hours. You were watching it for hours, according to what you said in my chat.
I kept having to pause it, okay? I was playing Hearthstone. And I kept getting interrupted.
There's
But-
a dub. That's really good.
Shh. Shh. The first episode, all right? There's this gang of bandits that are trying to track down Vash. And these guys are just sitting in a bar, and they're talking about, oh, Vash the Stampede. If you heard about his $60 billion double dollar bounty, he's like, yeah, I hear he was around here. Like, where's he going? Last I heard, he was going like southwest or something. I don't remember the direction. But this gang of bandits is outside the bar, and they have like these guns with like, they just fire on the bar for like a full minute, and like everybody's running out of there, and the building afterwards, after this just flurry, this barrage of these AK-47s or whatever they had, it looked like AKs, I think, and they just like the top of, like, imagine a building, but the top half is gone. Because all the bullets just destroyed the top of it. And then you have your protagonist afterwards. Everybody's gone, and he's just sitting there. I don't remember. I think he was like drinking. He just shows him sitting at a table.
Vash is usually seen drinking.
Okay.
He's a glutton. Favorite thing about the show for me is literally just every time that a fight happens. Every single time a fight happens. It's just this amazing slapstick comedy that always turns out okay. Like, one of the my favorite scene from the whole anime is Vash, Nick, Millie, and Meryl are entering a gunfight competition, basically, because they're broke. And they're in the middle of the gunfight, and Nick is, he's a hired gun, and he has no real qualms about murder at that point in the show.
Is that the guy that carries the cross around?
Yeah, he's the priest. He has no real qualms about murder when he first comes around, because he was raised on a belief that murder is fine if it's necessary. Death is a necessary part of the world. Vash completely disagrees. So during the gunfight scene, Nick is constantly like, I'm going to kill these people because, well, we have to. And Vash is like, no, let's not. And he's like, well, how are we going to get out of this without killing people? Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. And he's like tossing rocks for what is seemingly no reason. But it turns out every time he threw a rock, it conflicted with the trajectory of one of the other gunman's bullets. And it would knock the bullet off course, either hitting a wall or non-lethally incapacitating another gunman.
Sounds OP. We know.
That's just super OP.
We know for bad. Thank you.
And so he ends the whole thing without killing a single person. Because, well, he can. I guess. I don't know. It's not really explained too well what his powers actually are throughout the anime. It's just when you get to see his brother Knives, you kind of get a much better understanding of what powers Vash might have. But Knives abused his powers like super heavily, whereas Vash is just like, nah, I'd rather just not use them at all if I can get away with it. In the manga, he supposedly it might be in Trigun Maximum, it might be in Trigun Original, but in the manga, he supposedly uses his powers a lot more often, whereas in the anime, he basically just uses his heightened senses and speed. That's about it.
Chat says it's anime logic.
Yeah.
Anime logic explains a lot of it.
Even for anime logic, it's stretched a bit, he says.
Yeah.
It's explained better than I can really explain it. I'm not good at the whole talk thing. I don't know why I stream and run a podcast. I'm not a good speech person.
God, why not?
Over the top, non-lethal, hard mode.
It's basically
hardest
the
difficulty playthrough of life on life. Vast Stampede.
That is basically the entire show.
Yeah.
Does he end up killing anybody?
He kills one person in the entire entire show, and that is because that was the I want to say it was the sniper from later on. He fights him he beats him basically, and dude's just like kneeling there ready to die because his goal is to basically just ruin Vash. So he knows that if Vash were to kill him, his name's Legato, I think. If Vash were to kill Legato, that would scar him pretty much for life because he is the most pacifistic person you can think of. The only time he ever gets in any altercations in the entire show are 100% life or death situations. Like, him or someone else is going to die, so he just, doesn't let that happen. And so Legato's just kneeling there, ready to go, ready to die. And Vash is like, no, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to let you live. I'm going to let you live with your actions and force you to think about your actions for the rest of your life. And murder's not okay, basically, is all he says. And then he's like, okay, well, if you don't kill me here, then those two girls that following you will die as soon as I recover. And Vash is like, no, that's not okay. He's like, well, it's going to happen if you don't kill me. So Vash shoots him in the head.
I'm reading chat a little bit here, and they said something
What's
about
up?
plot armor.
Oh yeah,
I'm only skimming over it, but like if you talk about some animes, you just say he gets his plot armor or his plot gun or his plot skill or his plot power. His stupid thing that advanced the plot.
Yeah, I mean, in ways, that's kind of true.
Trigun doesn't really have the plot armor problem that most characters have. He's definitely not Wolverine levels.
What is plot armor?
Plot armor is Wolverine surviving a nuclear blast.
He's Wolverine.
I think that's just.
Josh, all of his skin and muscles were disintegrated.
Oh.
But he's Wolverine.
That's exactly my point. That's what plot armor is. Plot armor is Kirito being the best at literally everything. Why is Kirito the biggest Dick G that ever lived? No one knows. For the plot, I guess.
Alright, not talk about line.
One day we're gonna have a podcast just about sword art and how much
Whoa, it's been done.
I don't care.
Whoa,
It's been
now.
done. I don't want to watch it again.
I never watched it, never will.
I finished it because it was just good enough.
I'm going to watch.
And I
through the whole
hated
thing.
it. Like, I loved it, but I hated
Dave
it
Soul.
a little bit inside.
I'm gonna watch through the whole thing just so I can
No.
sit here for
You
2 to 3 hours.
professional
bitching.
help.
There's some good arcs, but there's some mostly it's
The
bad.
animation's trash for the most part. The intro is awful. If I can't watch an OP, I usually just don't watch the show. If I think the OP is animated that badly, I just don't watch the entire show. I never got past the OP of Sword Art Online. If the OP is that poorly animated, what's the animation of the rest of the show going to be like? Probably trash tier. Like most of Sword Arts.
Smells like Sword Art Online in here. Plug your
Most
nose.
of the, but we're not here to talk about Sword Art. I'm sorry. We're here to talk about Trigun, which
We're
also
here to talk about Sword Art. I mean,
I will remove you
Trigun.
from this call and have an entire podcast
What are you
about
doing,
Trigun
man?
with a guy who's never watched it. I will do this. I am
No.
that much of it.
Okay.
It should be good.
I'll watch the stream then.
But Trigun's animation also not the greatest. It's pretty good, but it looks like frames are missing and stuff because, well, 90s anime. Please don't play guitar during the podcast.
Nobody'll know.
You're gonna ruin it. Why? Because it's so missable?
We need music, don't
I'm
we?
sorry, but that's. It's just,
It's fine. I slay me. But how about we kick off the rest of the show, Josh?
What are we kicking off now?
Conversation about the actual show itself instead of random scenes that we love.
How to start? The art style is like, when did this come out? Like, I want to say it was 90s, late 90s.
It's like 90s. I'd say mid 90s. The art style is very mid 90s.
The music was
Also very mid 90s.
how do you explain it? It was kind of like classic, not classical. It was like classic rock. Like,
Yeah.
a
A lot of blues, a lot of classic rock, and some country rock there.
And they
here
did a
there.
good job of it for the most part. A little bit repetitive
Yeah.
and derivative from itself, but
The theme song
it
was
fit. It fit well. The themes. The first time you hear the
The theme
the
song.
theme song, it's oh man, I got hype over that. It's like, whoa,
Oh.
dude, this is gonna be the coolest anime ever.
The entire OP is amazing. The animation, everything. It's just great. Like,
Sometimes-
honestly, I would suggest everyone that's watching this to just stop looking at the screen right now, open up a new tab in Chrome or whatever, or what have you, and watch the Trigun thing right now. I'll probably put a link to it in the description, just like I forgot to do with the Psychopath episode for the Dominators. I should probably do that.
yeah.
I want to say, like, sometimes, you know how, like, their animes are usually made to be aired
Poorly.
on TV at first. Some of the cut-ins where they have, like, a random guitar riff to
Signify
ease you
the-
back in.
Yeah,
Sometimes the transition between that
it's
and
bad. Sometimes
yeah,
transition.
it's really abrupt.
Trigun, in my opinion, should just be watched all in one sitting or as many episodes in one sitting as possible, with no commercial breaks, because the way the story is structured, it's not really TV friendly, not commercial friendly. You want to be able to just ingest an entire episode all at one time, rather than have any breaks in between. Any bathroom breaks, in my opinion, should be done before or after watching an episode, or 10, because it's really easy to just sit there and watch 10 episodes of Trigun on accident.
Oh, it's stupid easy. It's so worth it.
What is your opinion on the dub versus the sub for Trigun? I personally think the dub is much better. I've watched both.
I don't think I didn't dabble much with the sub because you know how I am. I need that instant gratification, and dubs
And
don't
you
always
be
give
able
that
to
to
watch it while
me
driving.
because I'm a dirty, pessimistic, narcissistic millennial.
You also watch anime while you drive, so that doesn't help.
I don't. Sometimes I watch it. I usually listen to anime. So anime is my radio show. What's that?
What?
I am speechless about that. I am.
He doesn't actually watch it. He just has it on. But
I know, but still.
Most of the
speechless.
time. I'm a terrible driver. But I do drive like a grandma.
Remind me not to ever get in a car with you.
it's a poor choice to get in a car with Josh.
Just remind me. I want to live.
Josh, please stop. You're coming over loud and clear over the mic, and it's gonna really, really be weird. You should definitely do a sick riff for the intro, though.
I don't know how to do it. It's Missable Podcast. You're gonna wanna miss it. Missable Podcast. Intro is over. Hello, welcome to the Missable Podcast, where you should probably miss it.
Let me just. I don't usually have much chat interaction during the podcast, but
Feels bad, man.
Angel has a really good point. I don't really enjoy.
You don't
Well,
have
actually,
good
so-
points in my chat.
Angel, Cucumber, and Skull could bring up really good points about fan service.
Why?
I don't mind fan service. I just don't want to watch a show that revolves around it, and I also want the person creating the show or manga to be outright, blatantly telling me the truth about why the fan service is there. I don't want a Kojima quiet situation.
You want those fourth wall breaks where they say, "Yeah, this is just
One
here for
sec,
fan
Josh.
service."
Cut off Cameron all the time.
I'm not,
Every
I
time
can't
he
even
is,
hear him.
then turn your fucking headphones up.
They are.
The tornado, I'll do it. All I can say.
I have no problem hearing him.
That's because you were on my level.
Alright, now what were you saying, Cameron?
I said, fan service are okay. I won't just go with all of it, like 24/7,
Yeah. Like, I don't care about Tokyo Ghoul or High School. Not Tokyo Ghoul, I've never even seen any of that. But High School of the Dead, I think it's called. I have zero urge to watch that because it's like 90% titty monsters.
Yeah, that is 100% accurate.
Like, but like fan service in the case of like Skullgirls, for instance, where the entire game doesn't just revolve around
Yeah.
having big tits, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, Skullgirls fan service is best fan service.
It's
Like,
just called fan service.
Oh, don't even get me started about Skullgirls.
Sometimes fan service is good and terrible both at the same time.
You remember
Like-
Yeah,
that?
Agreeable.
Wait, what'd you say, Cameron?
I say agreeable that fan service can be good and bad.
Yeah. What were you saying, Josh?
Do you remember that Philia sex game?
Oh, don't
Where-
get me started on that. Don't get me started on
Yeah.
that.
That's how Zone got her job in. I want to say that's how job his. Sorry, Zone is a man. I want to say that's how Zone got his
Okay.
job at Lab Zero. I'm not gonna like. There's nothing,
Plutonic relationship, huh?
there's nothing that says anything that's how he got his job, but I'm pretty sure that's how he got his job. Because that was before he was brought onto the animation staff. But my point is, I don't want fan service like in. I don't want you to explain your fan service away, but like not admit that you have it there because you like tits. Like a good example is Nier Automata. Yoko Taro straight up said, "Yeah, there's story reasons why these characters look the way they do, but I also just like pretty girls with big butts and big boobs. So I made pretty big butts with big boobs." Okay, cool. Do you. Do what you want. Sure thing. But then you have Kojima, which is like, no, Quiet's not there for sexualization at all. She has a story reason why she can't wear clothes. She breathes through her skin. Come on. She breathes through her skin, Kojima. That's the best you can do.
Yeah.
Like, at least make it. But he refuses to admit that he just likes seeing tits, which is quite apparent if you've ever played any of his games.
Have you seen an interview where he's given this response?
Yeah. It's also a story. It's in the story that she breathes through her skin, so cannot wear clothing.
Like, does he say it with a smile? Or does he got, like, straight face? Like, no, she actually breathed through her skin.
Kojima doesn't smile unless he's in an American supermarket taking selfies with Windex.
Sounds like my kind of guy.
If
Clickety clack. If
and the whole reason I talk about fan service like that is because Trigun does have some fan servicey scenes. They're sprinkled in very sparsely and are used to actually enhance things. Like there'll be a scene in a saloon where chick with big tits is like basically getting bashed to just fork over every penny he has.
He's a romantic, and he's very easily led on.
Yeah.
Often unsolicited.
If tits are in the vicinity, he will try to throw money at them in an attempt to get them to go have a romantic night in his hotel room with him.
There were a couple villains that took advantage of how gullible he was, and he's always going on about like trying to get his, like he's always trying to get his.
Hey,
I don't
I'll be
know
like
exactly
that.
what he calls it. All right, man. But he's always out to get the girl.
I think Cameron just said he'd be right back. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Okay. And so that's art style, fan servicey stuff, just because it was brought up in the chat. Music direction we talked about, also fantastic. General art direction is fucking phenomenal. The way they set everything up to be
It's not
Wild West
widescreen.
show. I mean, it's not going to be widescreen because it was made in the 1990s, pre-widescreen.
Just something to note.
But the Wild West feel of the show is really genuine, which is actually pretty rare for something made in Japan. It feels like Wild West America when you're watching it. Just... Oh god, I'm dying.
What?
So... The story has some pacing issues. Namely, the fact that it was made for TV, but wasn't made for TV.
Okay, what did I miss?
Like, nothing much. I mentioned how, if you look up a picture of it, actually I can bring a picture up on stream. Trigun's art direction is based on Wild West stuff. And the scenery is all fantastic. All of it. All of it feels authentic.
How far into the show did they start getting into the, like, really delving into the backstory?
Toward the end. So we can go into that later. Like, that looks sick. Let me find a good view of one of the town. Ooh, this one, actually. Ah, that is tiny. No, I'm not going to finish that. Alright, there we go.
Oh, that does look nice.
Let me see.
It's just flavor art.
Yeah.
That's all. But it looks really good. That was actually taken from a pan shot in one of the episodes, and it looks pretty great. I think that pretty much everything in the show is pretty well done, aside from a few very minor pacing issues, which are literally just caused by it not feeling like a TV production. It feels like something that nowadays would have gone straight to Netflix. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like Black Mirror, or because Black Mirror would be ruined by commercials, completely ruined, destroyed. So it's on Netflix, not TV.
Alright. I haven't used Netflix in forever. I want to.
Their episodes are long, too.
How long?
Like an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Like
Hour-long
straight
episodes.
footage or straight runtime.
Huh.
Yeah. Let's talk about character design next. I'm going to bring up a picture of the cast. Josh, do me a favor and start talking about that for me.
The cast?
Yes.
Well, there's a couple characters
Look
that
at Batman
stick
Discord.
out for sure. He has a group following him around. There is
Errol and Millie
Yep.
are the main people. They are insurance workers.
They follow him around to ensure that
It doesn't
Since-
cost their company too much money.
yeah, because everybody's going around saying that Vash the Stampede has been causing damage to their property or whatever. So they send out 2 insurance agents to follow him around to substantiate claims. And Vash isn't really the one causing the destruction. It's everybody after his bounty.
Yeah. The $60 billion double dollar bounty kind of puts a damper on that. What the hell? You know what, Angel? I'm just not going to read the chat anymore.
Yeah. It's... What?
Angel said something about someone finding a island that's for growing weed, and I don't know what he's talking about, but I do know that that's not what the subject of the podcast is. I'm gonna leave this picture up a little bit. Let's just give general descriptions of the cast. Vash is like outwardly, Vash is dumb and joyful and just an all-around great person, to be honest. But like, he's every time you get a glimpse of what he actually is like, he's very subdued and just like, say when he's in a fight, it's the only time you ever actually get to see his true colors. Very subdued character, highly intelligent, and just wants to be peaceful. He just wants everyone to stop being a dick and leave him alone.
He's mostly aware. He's very deceptive, or
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's really deceptive, but he kind of ignores bad situations in hopes to diffuse them.
Yeah, there's a scene where he literally, just to make sure that the entire saloon doesn't freak out, he pretends to dance with a woman while dodging bullets.
He's like a Doritos bag guy, right? Where he just kind of steps between people that get into arguments, and he just...
Yeah. Except it's donut boxes instead of Doritos.
yeah, he steals donuts.
That's about it for Vash. Meryl?
He works off the donuts though.
Yeah.
Which is
Meryl
nice.
is best girl. Meryl is straight up the best character in the whole show, aside from Wolfwood, but we're not to him yet. Meryl is the short insurance agent, Josh.
Yeah.
One that she's very stern, very angry person.
Very skeptical.
Yeah, also that. And she's basically this show's tsundere character, and I am a sucker for tsundere. She was the first wife basically being a cunt while being a loving kind person.
Yeah.
Swear
Meryl's
jar.
Meryl is the first waifu I ever had in anything. We've since departed, but that might change after I read the manga within the next few days. She's extremely skilled with pistols, and I can't remember her nickname very well, but she hides 50 Derringers in her overcoat.
Wait.
Derringer single-shot pistols.
Oh.
They're throwaway guns. You shoot once and you get rid of it. That's the whole point of a Derringer. She carries 50 of them and is... He's just... Like, damn it. Smitten, stop talking about Ed. I need to play that character.
He looked cool.
Basically, Meryl is like the most waifu material thing that this show ever even thought about having. She's very calm and collected, but also very prone to violence at the same time. Has extremely precise aim with a pistol, and that's about it. She solves altercations by shooting people. Not lethally, but shooting people nonetheless.
The tall girl is a lot more, I guess, gullible. And I think, not gullible, but like, she can read the situation better. Like, she knew Vash was Vash before Meryl.
Yeah.
She carries around this, like, huge Gatling gun under her coat that's probably as big as her.
Pretty much. It's as big as Meryl, at the very least. But Meryl is a very small person. Meryl also, I didn't mention it, but Meryl is also the main love interest for Vash throughout the show, which is pretty amazing. She's basically, you take Vash, keep the peace-loving portion of him, but turn Vash into an asshole. And not as dumb. Millie is way too nice to everybody, but is also a horrifying monster at the same time. That's really all you need to know about the character. That, and she is in love with the next character, Nicholas D. Wolfwood, which during my research I found out that the D stands for an extremely long name that is not readable by my eyes, and it basically means that he smokes way too much. Every scene that he is in, he has a cigarette in his hand or in his mouth.
Who?
Wolfwood. Nick.
Okay. Yeah.
Every scene he's in, he has a cigarette in his mouth or in his hand. He's literally constantly smoking.
And it's usually
All
cocked
fucked up. It's usually all fucked up like a Clint Eastwood cigarette.
like this.
Yeah.
At least something. It's usually like bent more than that. Oh, I just broke it.
Good job.
They're contorted cigarettes in a non-plausible way, apparently.
Nick is actually, as far as general characters go, he's my favorite character. He's not waifu material, obviously, but outside of Meryl, he's probably my favorite. He carries around a big-ass cross with him everywhere because he's a mercenary priest. It is the weirdest and coolest thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. He was brought up at an orphanage by a man named Chapel the Evergreen, who we'll get into much later on toward the end of the podcast. And he was raised, well, to be a mercenary, a murderer. And it's basically all he did with his life until he met Vash. He was just a hired gun. And he runs an orphanage. That's why he is a hired gun. He wants to collect bounties and the like, and just gain money in general so that he could support his orphanage. So he's actually really cool. He murders people to help children.
Oh, okay, that sounds cool.
It's rad, in my opinion.
Way down.
His cross has a rocket launcher in it, a light machine gun in it, and an array of pistols.
I love that so
The
much.
coolest character in the whole show. So,
Cross gun.
and he also has the most development out of all the characters, in my opinion, because he goes from being a guy who's like, no, I don't care if I have to kill somebody as long as my means are, as long as what I need done is done, I'll kill whoever. I don't give a fuck. But then he eventually turns into, like, he stops wanting to murder because he realizes how right Vash is about, you know, it's not your choice whether someone lives or dies. You can't decide that on your own, kind of thing. Then we have Legato, who's, I don't care about that character at all. He bores the crap out of me, so if Josh remembers anything about him, go for it.
Legato? I remember nothing about him.
Yeah, so let's just skip him. And then there's Knives, the main antagonist of the show. I know Legato is a secondary antagonist. I actually
name is that.
Knives? Dumb.
Was
Yeah.
Knife beyond repair? I forget.
Who wake up one morning and say,
Technically, yeah.
I gotta make myself knives? Who's
They're not actually humans. It gets
Oh, okay, then.
later
Okay.
on that they're humanoid plants. Yeah, it's
Okay.
weird.
I forgot
Oh.
the exact details about that, but
Well, when we
I don't
get
know if
into
we
the
should
story
spoil that or
synopsis,
not, because we don't really have to.
we don't have to,
Up to
so
you.
we'll just like say a little bit about it, and then like they're basically heightened versions of people. It's basically it. Longer lifespan kind of stuff.
Okay, that makes sense.
Imagine like a Captain America type
With
deal.
superpowers.
That's why I compared to Captain America.
There is a overarching thing in the plot that Vash, he destroyed an entire town, and
It's
there's some
Knives.
people. Yeah, there are people out over time throughout the anime, like
Try to get
get revenge on him for destroying an entire city, and Vash doesn't even remember doing it.
the first memory he had. The last memory he has is right before he blacks out, which is him and Knives having an altercation. And the first memory after that is him crying over, like, him confused because he's lived this pacifistic lifestyle and then he wakes up in a destroyed city. Yeah, it's fucked up. And he's being
Yep.
blamed for it, and it's not his fault.
But didn't he like blow up or something? And it was him that caused the destruction, but he didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah,
Why
he
would-
actually pointed it at.
Well, he's
pointed his
supposed
gun
to
at
do it.
What's up?
You say he blew up or something.
He blew up a city.
Oh, okay.
On accident.
I thought you meant himself.
No, Knives forced him to awaken his abilities as a plant, which I don't want to get too far into because major plot point, like Josh said, but at the same time, it's not necessary to talk about. Basically, it's like the biggest spoiler you could possibly give, and it might actually ruin the show for people that haven't seen
Okay.
it before.
Okay.
Let's go into a general synopsis of the story real quick, Josh.
I don't remember all that much.
You don't have the wiki in front of you. God damn it. Where? This one. There we go.
In the end, Vash is being hunted by bounty hunters for most of it, and it shows him how he deals with it.
Alright, it starts out, Vash is just, the first episode, Vash is just chilling in a bar, just eating his food, chilling, drinking, having a good time, and then 4, I want to say, bounty hunters come in and just start shooting up the place. Vash pretends that he's dead by putting ketchup on himself and all over the floor. He, basically laid down on top of a bottle of ketchup and let it just leak out. And it fools them into thinking that they killed him, so they start doing all this
Who would
cool
fall for that?
shit.
Oh my god.
An idiot in an anime.
Yes. Anime logic.
Yeah, pretty much. And he ends up defeating them through use of clever tricks, basically. He doesn't even pull his gun, I don't think. So he beats them through clever tricks and through counting the bullets that they fired, which is outrageous considering one of them has a fucking automatic pistol. One of them is using a machine pistol, and Vash still knows that he fired all of his rounds. It's weird. And it goes on to basically just, I don't want to give too heavily of a synopsis. This one's not really a spoiler-heavy episode this week, because I want more people to watch it.
Last week was a rundown.
Yeah, last week was super spoiler-heavy. I try not to make it too badly spoiler-filled, but yeah. And then throughout the series, it's mostly just Monster of the Week stuff for a lot of it, to be honest. And then, about halfway through the series,
Monster of the
meets
Week, I like that.
Gung Ho Gang, who are let me actually bring up a picture of them, who are mercenaries that are under the control of Knives, the main antagonist. So, in the manga, he's given a coin case, and he has to collect 12 coins from the 12 members of the gang, I guess. Never read the manga, so I don't know too much about it. He's not given that in the anime, though. Sorry, Gung Ho Guns, not gang. Here is a picture of them. And Wolfwood, Nick, is actually one of the Gung Ho Guns, so is Legato. Legato is the most boring a member of them, so no one cares. But so is Wolfwood's mentor, Chapel the Evergreen, so they go through all the Gung Ho Guns, which are mostly, honestly, kind of boring as people. To be completely honest with you, I don't care about the Gung Ho Guns that much. They don't really stick out in my... they have cool designs, and their tactics are sick, but as characters, they're kind of boring. Outside of Wolfwood and Chapel. So,
Okay.
Skip over a bunch. Vash defeats the Gung Ho Guns, and
Oh. Okay.
Vash defeats the Gung Ho Guns, and he just steamrolls them, to be honest.
Thank you.
Their whole goal is to, like, the whole reason they're sent after him is to put Vash into situations where it's either kill or be killed. Knives wants him to realize that human beings are trash and should be exterminated. That's Knives' whole plan, is to exterminate people, like human beings, and make it a plant world. Well, shit, my head is killing me. It's really fucking me up on this. Vash, I keep wanting to say Nash. Vash goes through all of them in non-lethal ways, except for Legato, who's not numbered. He's the only member not numbered, meaning he's not expendable like the rest of them. But Vash finds a way to get out of each situation without killing a member, and the only one that Wolfwood ends up fighting is Chapel the Evergreen, his mentor slash basically father. It's a surrogate father, pretty much, in the anime. He ends up defeating him and is going to kill him, but then like he just kind of like has flashbacks of conversations with Vash and decides that, you know what, you realize what you've done wrong in this world. I'm going to give you a chance at atonement. And doesn't kill him, but then Legato, who was off somewhere nearby, he has like telepathic abilities, and he takes control of Chapel the Evergreen because, well, Chapel's super weak because he just got bodied by Wolfwood. And when Wolfwood is leaving and walking away from the fight, Chapel pulls his gun under the influence of Legato and shoots Wolfwood. He didn't want to, but he did. Wolfwood then goes to a chapel and dies there. Night before all this happened, him and Milia basically fucked. That's basically the gist of the scene the night before. Meryl and Vash hung out, and Wolfwood and Millie hung out, and they fucked. And Millie gets heartbroken by Wolfwood's death. It just destroys her. She, like, honestly, I don't really care much about Millie throughout this show, but that scene is really good. Really powerful character death. And then after that, there's this whole episode where it's basically Vash like not wanting to do it anymore because he doesn't know if he can continue to fight without killing people because of having to kill Legato to protect Millie and Meryl. So he's basically in this slump for a while until can't really go into what causes him to get out of it, but it's basically Meryl trying to be like, no, you're not that person, you're not a murderer, kind of stuff. You know, kind of generic. And
yeah,
then
really shouldn't. Really.
And then the next, and Vash is like, you know what? You're a great person, blah, blah, blah. She's like, well, are you going to stay here? Or he's like, yeah, I'll stay. And then the next day, he's like, you know what? I got some unfinished business to take care of. And he's like, I am going to leave. And I am going to go take care of this knives issue. And when he's leaving, Millie, like, it's kind of a tear-jerking scene, actually, because Millie had the cross weapon of Wolfwood's. And she hands it over to him and is like, hey, use this. It'll probably help you in your quest to do the thing. He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And Millie actually interrupts Meryl trying to, like, confess her love to Vash. And so when Vash walks off, Meryl kind of breaks down. It's like, oh no, blah, 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 couldn't say it, blah, 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 couldn't confess, blah, blah, blah. That kind of stuff. It's that whole episode's kind of generic, to be honest. The rest of it, not really, but that whole episode is very generic.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
And then comes the final episode, where Knives and Vash finally get to have their standoff. It's pretty even until they like end up with each other's guns pointed at each other's heads. But Vash, being a pacifist, doesn't want to shoot him. He wants to end all this without killing him. So Knives actually shoots Vash and glances him in the head, knocking him, like incapacitating him, basically. Can't really do anything because he just took a blow to the head from a fucking bullet because he wasn't fast enough to get out of the way. And Knives takes Vash's gun and uses what is called an angel arm, which is what destroyed the city of July and caused the $60 billion double dollar bounty on Vash's head. And so Knives now has two of these guns that can create horrible, horrible destruction through plants. Yeah, and so Knives is charging up to shoot Vash, and he gets like, I guess a flashback voice, you could call it, where Wolfwood's just like, use it, or Millie's like says use it. One of the two. I can't remember for some reason. This episode's shit. And this is the worst episode we've done yet, I think. But Vash hears the voice of reason, I guess you could call it, and puts it, like, digs his hand down into the sand, and you hear a little click as Knives is about to shoot Vash. The cross gun, like, he pulls the cross gun out of the sand and just unloads, destroying Knives' shoulders and thighs, like completely incapacitating him, but not killing him. And doing that severed the ability to use the angel arms, because they're literally your arms. Your arms literally just transform into horrifying, disgusting thing. So that's how the fight ends. It's actually pretty cool. The whole fight's really well done, really well choreographed. The animation's great. So after doing that, Vash walks over, takes his gun and Knives' gun, puts them away, throws Knives over his shoulder, and walks off into the distance. And at the end of the episode, you see him walking up to Millie and Meryl to, I guess, live with Millie and Meryl forever? I don't know. They probably explained that in Maximum.
There's a movie as well.
Oh, there
Does
is?
it take place after?
The movie takes place somewhere during the show, I think.
Okay.
The movie's alright. It's not as good as the show, but it's pretty good. I'd recommend.
Yeah, we tried watching it once.
Yeah. I would definitely recommend watching the movie. I would definitely recommend watching the show.
Yo, I gotta go into the bathroom real quick.
Alright. What were you
Okay.
saying, Cameron?
Actually, I might give it a try.
I would
mean-
suggest it.
I mean, these days you had to force me to watch anime. They're like, I don't know why.
The explanation of the story is really I couldn't really explain it too well without spoiling a ton of the show very easily.
Yeah.
I would I've already kind of spoiled character designs, but I don't want to spoil the Gung Ho Gun's abilities because that's the cool thing about them. The way that they fight is sick.
Yeah, I might give it a try sooner or later.
If you watch it, I can actually... If you end up watching it, let me know. I could probably find... Or you could also read the manga. It's pretty short. It's only 3 volumes. And then it actually...
Really? That's good?
Yeah. So... in general, I think it's one of the best shows ever made. It got a lukewarm reception in Japan when it first came out. But in the West, it's gotten nothing but praise. Probably because it's a very Western-styled show, but with a very Japanese, direction.
Yeah. They're like a mix between Western and Japanese.
Yeah. I think of it like Cowboy Bebop, the way it works.
I need to return to that anime. I need to.
Bebop, you know how Cowboy Bebop has that really heavy cowboy feel to it?
Yeah.
But, a lot of the dialogue just feels very Japanese.
Yeah.
That's a lot like how Trigun is, so... I would definitely... If you like Bebop or Samurai Champloo, I would say give Trigun a shot.
Yeah, I probably would give it a try sooner or later. I promised myself to watch JoJo Bizarre Adventures, but never going to have a shot at it yet.
I said I was going to watch JoJo's 3 years ago.
And
I still haven't touched it.
Yeah, that's what I'm going through right now. That's too lazy.
Is Josh back yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear you. What about you, Josh? After you've seen it all before, what is your what kind of closing statement would you give? As far as recommending it, not recommending it, or a rating, or however you feel like doing it.
It's good anime. I definitely recommend it. I think it's one of the essentials for sure.
Definitely.
If you guys seen Cowboy Bebop, I think you would love this one. Or if you love this one, you would love Cowboy Bebop.
That's actually the exact same comparison I used, except I added Samurai Champloo.
We were just talking about that.
Ever watched I started watching Samurai Champloo.
That show's so good.
I know you praise that one a lot. Chat's being a troll.
Yeah, chat's always being a troll.
Spitting
My
Kitten's 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10.
Wants me to watch.
You said 2 out of 10? You know what's gonna happen? I don't know.
Some fighting words.
Yeah,
I love the show.
That's about it for Trigun.
If you like weird sci-fi nonsense, there is
there's a lot of that. It's really weird. I would suggest watching the show or reading the manga. I already explained the big change in the beginning of the podcast. There's a couple other things I didn't talk about, like why Knives has such huge animosity towards humans, but I feel like if I talk about that too much, it kind of spoils the whole show. They also don't really get into that until toward the end anyway. Cardcaptor Sakura was lit I don't doubt that, Smitten. But that's about it as far as the show goes. Any questions in the chat for the last few minutes we got left? Figured do some questions.
Any questions? Going once, going twice?
That is
It's
so
gonna
good.
take
That's
a
not
minute.
a question. That
Yeah,
is
I
not a
know.
question.
I'm just going around.
Yes,
What do you want?
actually, I do have a question, says Spittin' Kitten.
Oh, this should be good.
Nah, it's okay. I understand spoiler and whatnot. Yeah, it's really hard to talk about Trigun without spoiling everything Skull Kid. Really, really
When
hard.
is SF5?
GG!
After the podcast is over,
GG all the way.
If you guys watching are curious, we stream this podcast live on Twitch, and that is Chris's chat asking when he's gonna play Street Fighter.
Um,
I think he just wanted to get his Karen body. That's what I think.
Also, if anyone listening to this on YouTube, if you send questions to the Missable Podcast Facebook page, which is linked in the description, I will review them and I will read them out loud at the end of the podcast. If they're good, if they're not, depends on how many questions I have.
What are we doing next week?
Next week is what, episode 6? I was talking to Cameron. I want to do an episode of the podcast about fighting game genre and differences between games. Me and you have a lot of viewpoint on... Well, I have pre-second Encore, and so do you, views on Skullgirls. No, nobody has sent a question to the Missable Podcast Facebook page. That is not happening yet. Because we're not popular. Because we're all scrubs and terrible at this.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Next episode's probably going to be about that, if you and E-Man are down for that, Josh.
About what?
The fighting game genre and the differences between certain games. It's a shorter topic.
I can do that.
Alright. E-Man likes Blaze Blue, so he'll be able to talk about Blaze Blue. I hate Blaze Blue, so I won't be able to talk about Blaze Blue.
I don't know too much about it. I've played...
Cameron plays anime.
I played Street Fighter
Am I guilty
4.
In
You
my
said
opinion.
Guilty Gear?
They're like made by the same company.
Guilty Gear is the anime game, dude. Come on.
But
Oh, I
what's
also
your beef
played-
with the way I'm talking to my friend? So what's your beef with Blaze Blue?
Alright, but let's get back to the questions real quick. Blaze Blue does suck, Smitten. I agree.
Whoa. Well, in certain situation, yeah. Sure.
Guilty Gear is fantastic. You're right.
How about
Smitten with the right opinions over here. How do you feel about this generation's anime compared to the old generation of anime shows? Because I grew up on shows like Rurouni Kenshin, First Dragon Ball, and I love those shows as well as Fully Cooley. If you love Fully Cooley, you can go back to
Oh my god, Fully
the last
Cooley.
episode, which we did about Fully Cooley. Not last episode, the episode before that, on the YouTube channel, which is linked by Moobot at some point.
Is there a chat command for YouTube channel link spam?
I think it's info.
Maybe.
Exclamation point info.
Nope.
Yeah.
Might be information. Who cares? It'll show up again before the end
Yeah.
of the podcast.
Probably linked on the... It's probably somewhere on your page, right?
Yeah. I personally prefer older anime, but that's just because most of what I've watched is older stuff. But some newer stuff is fantastic. Like, I would consider the newer seasons of Hajime no Ippo to be newer stuff, personally, because of how drastically different the animation is. And it's fucking amazing.
Swear jar.
Smitten, let's just say Beyblade is one of my favorite shows ever. And just be done with that. I don't want to talk about Beyblade.
I love Beyblade.
And like I watched a lot of older anime, but at the same time, like Chunibyo, K-On!, stuff like that, stuff that came out in the 2000s, all really good. So, you know, Bleach was good for like 2 seasons. Yeah, there's a lot of good in both. Rocket Boy, I don't care about Rocket Boy.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
That's just a fudge.
Astro Boy, god damn it. I knew what you were talking about, Smitten. I knew what you meant when you said it. I really don't care about Astro Boy that much.
I think I'm ready to wrap this up.
Alright, Josh, what are you looking forward to over the week?
Playing music, or doing music. Getting a little bit of practice in PA. Playing some tabletop sim.
Making an outro song for the podcast?
Yes. An outro?
Yes.
I have to do an outro now too?
You could honestly just reuse the intro whatever intro you use.
Okay, and
I just don't want it to just abrupt.
I kind of, I gotta find the pen for my Wacom tablet, but I might try to do an animation for another song. Or
Sweet.
I might actually go out and get some footage with a friend. I think Jeremy wants to do a video. We might do that this week. Yeah, looking forward to hopefully releasing another song. And singing my little heart out. And hopefully enjoying work. And talking to girls. Not really.
I'm just looking to Ed.
GG.
Just Ed for me.
Can you play music? Yes, Smitten. I am a musician. I play multiple instruments and I make my own stuff. You can probably plug me in the chat somewhere. Can you play Drops of Jupiter? No, I've never heard of that.
I linked Josh's music channel in the chat.
I guess
I don't even know what Drops of Jupiter is, Smitten.
Says I'm not a real musician.
He could probably play it if he knew what it was.
Yeah.
You'll have to ask me sometime while I'm streaming.
I don't know who Train is. I don't listen to music.
I've heard of Train.
Smitten,
Nothing comes to mind though.
get out of here with your Taylor Swift.
Oh, that's a recent song, like the last 20 years. Chris, nobody's talking to you, all caps.
Skull Kid, I will.
Alright, bro.
If you are in our Discord, I will hit you up about next week's episode, by the way. Because you asked.
I can get down the link to the Discord if you want.
Alright,
Hey.
please do.
Make us feel better, and at least watch this a little bit on YouTube. At least inflate our view count so we can feel good about ourselves. Because you're missing out on sick intros to these things.
Yeah, the intros are the best part, to be honest. And Cameron, what are you looking forward to this week?
I really can't say. I'm looking forward to Guilty Gear, but other than that, really nothing.
I want to watch some. Actually, I got one more thing. I want to watch people play Injustice. I don't want to play Injustice. I just want to watch other people play Injustice.
You should
Why?
open up every episode with a Chris comic.
Oh, fuck you.
Okay, what's
Yeah.
that? What is your question for Cameron?
I just asked him what he was looking forward to this week. He
Oh.
said Guilty Gear. He said not really much else.
Yeah, I'm a blind person at most time.
Injustice
you're
is
looking
hard.
forward- You're looking forward to playing some Ed at some point, I guess.
Maybe.
Well, watching me play Ed, I should say. All right. We're gonna wrap it up.
Waving Kappa?
This has been the Missable Podcast.
Wait, sarcastic smile.
I love you all, except Josh.
Oh!
All my waifus, except Josh.
I'm your waifu? What the f-
Said you're not my waifu.
Okay, whew.
You are nowhere near waifu material. I mean, look at that beard. Jesus Christ. Waifus
Really
can't
need to
have
shave.
beards.
Waifu
Ew.
can be anything you want. You just don't have to be picky.
Angel
Let
would-
me go.
Gosh, waifu. This has been the Missable Podcast, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Check out the YouTube channel. It is now, and the Facebook. Please check out the Facebook for updates to the Missable Podcast,
And
or
send
join
your
the Discord.
questions there.
I am going to sit with a light off for at least 10 minutes before I restart the stream. Here's a link to the Discord in the chat, by the way. And play some Ed, because I have a killer headache that is starting to turn into vomit possibilities.
Killer
You always have a headache.
Yeah, I usually do.
I think I checked out.
Alright. Yeah, I'm doing a lobby later, Smitten.
Okay, bye guys.
Definitely
Have a
do.
wonderful time.
Peace out, everybody.